Yeah.
And so I guess this will be an interesting question to ask you. So if you're at the 3-point line and you have a wide open lane to the basket, so just say it gets swung to you, there's no one in front of you. How many dribbles do you teach a player to get to the backboard? Like how many dribbles should a player need?
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the first coach. You are the first person I've had on here that says one dribble. And
Are you serious?
Yes. And I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone or the Upside Down world when I'm like, let's make it as simple as possible. A kid that has no idea what they're doing, an alien comes to Earth and doesn't know how to play basketball. We got to teach them how to do this thing. You just scale it all the way back to like the most simple thing. One dribble.
Yeah.
Because if you can get there one dribble, you can get there 2 and 3 and 4. We can do 50 dribbles now, but if you can get there in one dribble, you've got the footwork down, you've got the speed, efficiency, like you've got all that down. 2 dribbles is easy now. 3 dribbles is easy now.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's mind blowing that I'm the first coach to say that, honestly. But but I just think I think dribbling is like, I think it's a necessary evil. If you could play without dribbling, like you're good at basketball.
Yeah.
If you can play one dribble, you're good at basketball. Like I always say, if you can't play 2 dribble basketball, you'll not be a professional. Like I don't care what else you know. If you can't do everything you need to do in 2 dribbles, like it's going to be extremely hard because most people aren't good at basketball. Like when you really break it down, like you just watch basketball on a daily basis and you just see the average high school player. Most of them are literally not that good.
Yeah.
And so you should be able to like destroy all of them in a 2 dribble thing just based on, I know where to go. And so I know, okay, this is the angle I can take. I can do that in 2 dribbles. This is a shot I can take. I don't really need a dribble for this shot. And so it's like, it's mind blowing that people aren't saying one dribble. I don't know where they're learning basketball.
Well, it's because we get so many people in the comments. And this is another thing I've run into. I don't know how much of my content you've seen, but I'll point out like something that I don't like. Like a coach will be like, so I'll use his name. I don't mean this in a bad way. He's the example I use a lot. By Any Means Basketball made a post with Peyton Pritchard. And he was like, this is why more dribbles is better. And it was Peyton Pritchard snaking off a ball screen, boom, 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 Euro, fake pass, reverse layup, and it's like 5 dribbles, Peyton Pritchard, or 3 dribbles. And I'm like, man, he's still doing a lot of stuff in like 3 dribbles. but he's like, see, Peyton Pritchard is doing all these things. And I'm like, but the problem is like the reason all those work is because Peyton Pritchard is a threat at one dribble at all times. So because the defense has to be ready for that one dribble to the backboard, they're constantly on their heels. They're constantly like overplaying his fakes. They're constantly over closing out because they're like, in one dribble, he can get to the backboard. So every little one of these that he does, they're like falling backwards. It's not the move. This isn't making people fall. Stuttering my feet and doing this little in and out, that's not going to make anyone fall. But when I can stutter and I can boom, explode to the backboard and get there, now people got to guard that. So that they don't it's exactly what you were saying. A lot of these skills trainers, a lot of these coaches don't understand why the thing works. And they just see it work and they're like, okay, I'm going to teach this move. I'm going to teach this scenario that Peyton Pritchard finds himself in a lot and teach you to be successful in this. So I talk about that's the chaos.
Yeah.
Our job as elite coaches, or not elite coaches, but trying to teach like the next level of the game is like, let's order the chaos. Let's not play in that as much as possible. Let's play with one dribble. Let's play with a closeout. Watch Steph Curry play. He's going to try to create a closeout every time. He's going to try to create an open 3 where he doesn't have to dribble. And because he's doing that, he's going to get back cuts. Because he's doing that, he's going to do a shot fake, and this guy is going to fly 50 feet across him. Because he's trying to do one dribble stuff the whole time, now when he does accidentally over dribble, like guys are like falling all over themselves. So I think that's like the secret sauce. And I'm like, it feels pretty basic, but why is that being missed? And why is that like the biggest hurdle that a lot of these coaches and skills trainers can't understand?
Yeah, it's the decision tree. It's like, okay, every first decision is like very, very simple. And then it's like, okay, if this isn't available, then what? Then what? Then what? Then what? And they're thinking of, okay, this was the 6th option for Peyton Pritchard in this moment. Let's teach that. And it's like most kids are never even going to
6 options.
Like they're never even going to get that far in the game. Like, and that's something he probably did once in the last 7 games that they played. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I did a study on this. I did a game study where I literally watched an entire basketball game and I just tallied. I was like, okay, how much is, I split it between something complex and something simple. So I was like, this is simple, 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 simple. And it was like, I think it was like 85% of the points scored on both teams were extremely, extremely simple. The 15% was like maybe a move that was like, okay, this is something that's a little bit complex. And it was all by the stars. None of the role players did that.
And it usually
so
happens,
like,
what, time winding down or a broken play?
Literally, that's literally what I said too. And I'm like, the only reason they had to do that because they already tried to run the offense and they did something and then it broke down and now they got to create. So it wasn't like their first option is to come down and break down the defense. Because I think that's like, if you're trying to score versus set defense, I think that's just like the dumbest way to score. To be honest, it's a complete waste of time. Like you have to be insane to be able to do that consistently, which is why like we can name all the people by hand who are allowed to do that and they get paid $100 million and there's like 24 of them that exist. Yeah. And like and everybody else.
But magically when they get to the playoffs, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, they're simple as it gets. And I always say, like, if you put any of those superstars as a role player, they're going to be the best role player on the planet.
Yeah.
And, like, think about Devin Booker in the Olympics. Like, there's not a role player that you're going to plug into that exact situation and who's going to be able to do what he did. Like, he played the highest level of role player that is, and he can score 30 a night. Yeah.
Whenever he turned into a facilitator, just a passer.
Yeah.
I'm going to play
it's like he's the best in the world. Yeah. And I think the other thing is they don't account for creativity. Like I think you're only going to be as good as you are creative. So it's like you got to learn all these basic things, and it's not something you're going to practice. So I think coming to my camp or my skill session and me teaching you something that's creative by nature is a complete waste of time because I know for a fact you're not going to go to the courts and work on help side. I know you're not going to work on reading this screen right here. So like I think trainers are wasting their time because a kid that's going to learn a fadeaway or that's going to learn all these different nuances, they're going to learn that anyway just by watching, and they're going to plug that in whether you teach them that or not. But they're not necessarily going to plug in, okay, how do I make real contact on this screen and slip in this situation and know where to be. And so I think that's where we got to focus our time on when they come to the gym. And it's like, it might not be the most fun thing on earth, but it's like, it's also not my job to entertain you. If you're not excited with the boring parts of the game, good luck to you. You might be an okay player.
Play for
that's
fun.
What it's going to be. Yeah.
Play for fun. That's okay. You're not going to go
you
very
have
far.
To try to be elite.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's interesting because someone asked right before you jumped in here and you couldn't hear me. So I'm like, damn, I wish you could have heard that now. But someone was asking, how do you teach someone to be a good passer? And, I get a lot of these questions a lot. And I'm like, I mean, I would have to see the player and see what they're doing and see what I can add to that player. But how do you create like a great passer and elite passer? Like, I wish we knew. How do you create a great shooter? I wish if anyone knew that, they'd be making tens of millions of dollars a year. But there's so many pieces that go into it. And that creativity point that you just hit is so important. Like watching a player chase down a loose ball and they're also paying attention to like where their teammates are running. So they pick up that loose ball and they're like, wait, I can just like scoop this and throw it at the same time. It's like, I can't teach that.
100%.
Now there's some things I used to see when I was my favorite thing to do was pass. And so I liked coming down the court and looking this way, get open, go to the corner, and you drop it off over here. But it's like, that's a little bit of, I also like sarcasm. I like misdirecting people with jokes too. And I'm like it's the same. I don't know how to explain it, but it's the same behavior. It's the same mechanic. Setting people up for one thing and then hitting them with a like misdirection over here. It's the same mechanic, but it's talking and communicating, and this is playing a sport. But if you look at the elite passers in the league or anywhere in the world, they're also typically like pretty smart. They're typically like people that you look at Jokic and everyone's always like, man, Jokic's like the funniest dude. He's like super creative and all that. Look at Jason Kidd. You look at the Steve Nashes, like they all had kind of that mentality. So there's more that goes into it than just like the skill. So yeah, we can work on hook passes are really important. Everyone should learn it because when you're coming off that pick and roll, let's work on the fundamental foundation of it. But jumping in the air, acting like you're throwing this pass and then throwing it backwards to somebody, Tyrese Halliburton can do that. I don't know how to teach that. So we're not going to work on it. I hate to say this, and I used to not want this to be true, but it really is like a almost born with it. But it's not necessarily the skills that you're born with. It's like this, you just have like this innate instinct for certain things. Because there's kids where it's usually, I think the passing point is like such a good point because usually the best players are extremely good passers at a young age.
And I've noticed that, and they just have like they just have vision. I don't know what they see, but it's something that I can't necessarily say, okay, look for this micro detail in this person's body movement, to then it's like you either pick that up or you don't. And I think that's the hard part about basketball is that's why the 1% of the 1%, you have 100 kids in the gym, you teach them all the same thing. There's only 2 kids that are actually gonna like hear you, and then also straight away. Exactly. It's the application. And I've coached like thousands of kids, and maybe I can remember 3 kids specifically that can do something based on a conversation without us having to drill it. And they'll do it at like the best example was the most recent one was last year. I was coaching a kid, one of my point guards, and he was getting hit with screens by this team. They're just like setting screens on screens. And he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, when you feel a screen coming, don't scoot up early, wait until the last second, like skinny up, and then you'll get through it and you won't get hit. And like I showed him like one time, and I'm like, yeah, when this happens, just do this, and this. Game comes in, this is like he probably didn't get screened for maybe like 2 minutes, and then I see him chasing off something, and it's like this handoff thing, and he's about to get screened, and he skinnies up at the last second. I'm like, oh shit, like this kid's a genius, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like there is no teaching that. There's just you got to teach those kids. You got to teach the basics, so then they can actually play functional basketball. They'll figure out the rest.
It's funny. You just said like, oh, if you find like a kid that can apply and is really elite and can do all these things, you got to teach them the basics. And then if you're working with a kid who doesn't have all that and they're not very good, what should you teach them? The basics. And I tell people this all the time. They're like, I'm like, dude, I promise you the same stuff. I hate when people are like, I'm an NBA trainer, NBA skills trainer. I'm like, what does that mean?
I just see that in the bio. I'm like, how do you even get that label?
What does that mean?
And I'm like looking for NBA players on their page. I'm like, where?
But also like I've worked with some NBA guys, and it's so funny. One of them we were just working on some pick and roll stuff, and I would go pick and roll on the right side. He could just pick it up, 1-2 flush, any type of dunk you wanted on the right side. And then I would do the pick and roll on the left side, and he just couldn't elevate. He kept doing layups. Yeah. And I was like, why are you doing layups? He's like, oh, I've never been able to dunk very well off this side. And I was like, hold on, let's look at your footwork. And I was like, all right, let's start at the 3-point line. And I took him through the same stuff I take like under 12s kids through. And we just went through the same kind of footwork progression. And then I was like, okay, now just do that without the dribble. And so we started working on some stuff. And he was like, whoa, I've never understood that. And I'm like, this dude was a McDonald's All-American. He's had the best coaches in the world. He's been to all these skills trainers in the world. And I'm like, and he can't jump off of his right foot. And I'm like,
mind-blowing.
I see that sort of stuff, and I'm like, his job when he is in the NBA, if he wants to continue getting paid, is going to be pick and roll, catch and flush. That's it. Yeah. Like, why 100%. Were y'all working on all these step backs? Why were y'all working on all this crazy stuff? I worked on him catching the ball with either hand, because I'm like, you're going to have to catch the ball in all this traffic and all this stuff going off. I can make you better at that. Then I can get you jumping off both feet. Like, no one's stopping you. And he was like, I've never been taught this. I'm like, how does that happen? But it's the exact same stuff I work on with under 12s.
Yeah.
And that's the part, for whatever reason, that's what gets missed.
Yeah. It goes back to your first question of like all these experiences. It's like, I think the worst trainers don't coach teams because they don't understand what's important. If you don't coach a team, you have no clue what's important. Like if you coach an 8th grade girls basketball team, all the training you think you know goes directly out of the window. And it's like, I need you to catch the ball right here and just go this direction. You know what I mean?
Just shoot it and have confidence to shoot. I won't yell at you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to yell at a kid. I'm like, can you shoot? Like the first time I coached this kid, she's like, yeah. And I'm like, shoot the damn ball. Like, can I cuss on you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know about
it's the Wild West. Okay. You can do whatever.
Yeah, I was like, shoot the damn ball then. And then like later she like hits 2 threes. I'm like, yeah, of course. That's why you're
can I cuss? And then goes, dang it.